Buenos dias. I'm fixing to get my workday started here, but I wanted to share something. I had breakfast with a buddy of mine the other day, and we were talking about he was a competitive fisherman, and I just was curious about and wanting to know a little bit more about the process of fishing. And he told me about his early days fishing, and then he kind of went through a breakthrough where he began to place in the higher up in his tournaments and get into the money. And it was really interesting to listen to him and hear what the process looked like that he had to go through, and the realization that he had to come through, and his perspective change to get him to that place where he began achieving some sort of success. So he told me about a tournament that he entered that it was at a lake that he had never been at before, and it was a lake that was much bigger than any of the lakes that he had ever fished. And so he was faced with a little bit of fear. He was like, him and his partner that he was fishing the tournament with were just dumbfounded by, where do we even begin? How do we even go about fishing this lake? Where are there spots that need to be? And so he went and he asked some local people around there and went to some local fishing shops and such like that, and just said, hey, what is it that what should we do? Where should we go? Where's the hot spot where the fish are going to be biting and where we can make a run at this tournament? And he got some advice, and so he had that in his mind. Him and his partner had that plan, had that option. But he says that he also, before the tournament, they had done some research. They had gone out on the lake themselves, and they had kind of, gotten the boat and went around and thought to themselves, hey, this might be a good spot. This spot might be a good spot. And so they had an idea of what they thought, in their opinion, were going to be the good spots to go to. And then they went, and wisely, they went and they asked some other folks. And then the day of the tournament came, and it was time to actually put boots to the ground, get in the boat, let's go, we're competing now, let's catch as many fish as we can. And they second-guessed their opinions of where they thought they should go, and they went to where the locals had told them that they should go. And so they went to this spot, and it was a really bad day for them on the boat. They didn't catch any fish, no fish were biting. But then the realization they came to, they went and looked at some of the other boats and where they had been, and some of the boats had taken the spots that they thought that were in their best interest to fish. And lo and behold, these people were catching fish, and it was a good spot after all to be at. And then Brandon, my buddy, kind of told me about the fact that he was like, man, we had it pegged. Like, we had used our instincts. We had gone out there and we had experience fishing, and we used our best judgment and thought that these were going to be the spots. And in reality, they were. But because it was a lake that was bigger than any we had ever fished, and because we were kind of awestruck at the grandiosity of the lake and the tournament and all of that, we just threw caution to what we thought was in our best interest, and we just went to the spot that somebody had told us to as well, besides. And this happened a couple of times, and the pattern just kind of kept repeating itself. And at one point, Brandon told me, he said, you know what, Mario, I had to sit down and I had to tell myself, you've been doing this a long time, Brandon. You've got experience. You're a good fisherman. You need to begin trusting yourself more. You need to begin trusting your instincts. You can do this. And it was at that moment that he just stopped calling people. He stopped asking for other people's advice. He just said, you know what, let's just go, and let's just go with our gut. Let's go with what we feel is the best plan of action here. And it was at that point, he says, they began to do better and better and better and better at their tournaments. And it was this confidence that they began to have in themselves, that they were capable, that they were willing, that they had the ability to be successful. And that was the difference maker in terms of them just being able to start performing better at some of these tournaments. I took it a step further. I said, Brandon, here's a lesson. Even in that tournament, if you would have chosen your spot and you would not have caught any fish, you could have put to bed any kind of doubts as to whether your intuition was correct or not. And here's the application for all of us watching this. That happens so many times. It doesn't even matter, quite frankly, what the overall result is. Whether you catch a lot of fish, in other words, whether you're successful or whether you don't catch any fish and whether you're not successful, but that you actually committed to your plan, that you actually executed your plan to the best of your ability, and then you actually got to see what the fruit and the result of that was going to be. Because if we don't do that, that's when we get this doubt. That's when we get this what if kind of thing that starts stirring in our stomach. And that's what doesn't sit well with us. So the lesson here, commit to something, commit to your plan, do the job to be intentional, set out the framework for what you want to do, and then commit to it and trust yourself wholeheartedly. Guys, we are so much more capable of what we think we are. We want to ask other people. We want to get other people's advice. We want to do what other people are doing. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. There is a place for that. But can I say that what I see in my experience and my own experience as well is that most of the time we lean too heavily on other people and we don't give ourselves enough credit for the work that we've put in, for the studying that we've put in, for the intentionality that we've put in, for the knowledge that we have, for the abilities that we possess. So we need to start leaning on those more. So that's an encouragement for us. Like, let's pick our plan and let's go after it and let's do it, because success is on the other side of that. So let's get after it. Let's do it. If you guys are enjoying this content, can I just gently push you towards, I've got a YouTube channel. You search it, it's called Utmost Performance. And so if you go on there, there's other videos with content like this. If you guys would please be willing to share this stuff and get this out to more people, that would just greatly benefit those people, obviously, that are getting that. I would appreciate it on my end as well. I've got a Facebook page by Utmost Performance. Got a lot of content out there that I would love to share with you guys. So if you guys could just do your part, please, for me, and just share this, then I would really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate those of you that continue to support me and what it is that I'm doing here with this business. And I would love to hear your comments. I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to hear how this is impacting you, how this is touching you in a personal way on your journey. Y'all take care. Have a fantastic rest of your day.